About 11,000 years ago, the Sahara Desert wasn't a desert at all. It was a green place with lakes, rivers, grasslands, and even forests. But over time, it turned into the dry, sandy desert we know today. What could have possibly caused this lush paradise to transform into one of the harshest deserts on Earth? In this video, we'll discover the amazing plants and animals that once lived in the Green Sahara. We'll explore how this lush paradise turned into the desert we see today. And finally, we'll ask if it's possible to bring back the Sahara's lost green world. To answer all of these questions, over the past few weeks I have spent diving into ancient records, scientific studies, and countless historical accounts. After taking pages of notes, I've distilled everything into this script. In this video, I'll guide you through the incredible transformation and explore whether the Sahara could ever become green again. The first question that comes to mind is, what kinds of incredible plants and animals once thrived in the Green Sahara? The Sahara is the largest hot desert in the world, stretching over 3,000 miles from east to west across North Africa. It's about the same size as the United States and covers nearly a third of the continent, affecting 11 different countries. Despite the tough conditions, about 12,000 years ago, most people lived along the Nile River because it was the only place with enough water. But around 10 to 500 years ago, heavy monsoon rains fell over the Sahara, turning it into a place with grass, trees, and even small lakes. This allowed people and animals to move into the area and live there. The rain made the Sahara a great place to live, with lots of plants and animals like giraffes, elephants, and even crocodiles. Archaeologists have found fossils, rock art, and remains of animals like giraffes and elephants. About 10,000 years ago, people lived by gathering food, fishing, and maybe even farming. As the climate got drier, people had to move away, but some stayed near the Nile River. By 6000 BCE, early Egyptians were raising cattle and building structures in the southwestern Sahara. Later, the Sahara became a place for trade, especially after camels were domesticated, which made crossing the desert easier. But this created some problems. People wanted to build their homes, grow crops, and rear cattle, while animals like elephants and lions wanted to roam freely and find food. Sometimes the animals would come too close to where people lived, which scared them because the animals could destroy their crops or even attack the cattle. This led to a conflict where people and animals had to compete for the same space, making it hard for both to live peacefully in the Green Sahara. Fast forward today, many animals have become extinct because of things like hunting and losing their homes. For example, the western black rhino used to have 1 million of them, but now they're completely gone because people hunted them and took away their land. The booble hartebeest was another animal that lived in the Sahara, but the last one was killed in 1925. The African lion, while not fully extinct, has disappeared from the Sahara because their homes were destroyed, and now they mostly live in zoos. The scimitar-horned oryx is another animal that's gone from the wild, but you can still see them in zoos. Finally, the Dama gazelle, which is also known as the Moor or Adra gazelle, has become very rare because of wars, people building on their land, and competition with farm animals. Today, the Sahara has changed completely. It is home to fewer animals and plants that have adapted to survive. In some oases, you might still find animals like pygmy crocodiles. Other animals in the desert include gerbils, desert foxes, and over 300 species of birds like ostriches and desert owls. Some plants only live for a few weeks after rare rainfalls, while others, like olive and cypress trees, survive in the mountains and oases. On the other hand, around 2.5 million people live in the Sahara. Some live in permanent villages near water, while others continue to lead a nomadic lifestyle, moving with their animals. Many people in the Sahara are now more settled due to the discovery of oil and minerals, but traditional nomadic groups like the Tuareg and Berber people still live there, carrying on their ancient ways of life. But what changed the Sahara from a lush forest into a barren desert? Was it human activity, or did something else play a crucial role in this dramatic transformation? One scientist, named David Wright, has an interesting idea. He thinks that people and their animals, like goats, might have helped turn the Green Sahara into a desert. In a study published in the journal Frontiers in Earth Science, he explained that as people moved around with their animals, the animals ate a lot of the grass, and the people might have used fire to clear land. This could have made the land drier and helped the desert spread faster. Normally, the Sahara goes through periods of being wet and dry because of changes in the Earth's orbit around the Sun. These changes affect how much rain falls in the area. But something strange happened between 8,000 and 4,500 years ago. The Sahara dried up much faster than expected. David Wright thinks that humans and their animals might have played a big role in this. Another scientist, Jessica Tierney, says it's possible that the land changed on its own due to natural reasons, like the Earth's orbit and changes in plant life. The Earth's tilt changed and the rain stopped. But she also finds Wright's idea interesting and thinks more research needs to be done to find out the truth. To learn more, scientists like Wright and Tierney want to study the pollen and seeds left in old lake beds in the Sahara. They believe this could help them understand whether humans really helped turn the Green Sahara into a desert. Scientists have been trying to figure out how this big change happened. However, what we know is that the Sahara's climate has changed a lot over the past hundreds of thousands of years, switching between wet and dry periods. Around 8,000 to 6,000 BC, after the last ice age, the Sahara was much wetter than it is today. This wetter period was caused by changes in the Earth's climate, which brought more rain. But by 2500 BC, the rain stopped, and the Sahara turned into the desert we know now. One of the most important weather systems connected to the Sahara is called the West African monsoon. The monsoon is a seasonal wind that brings heavy rains to parts of West Africa. These rains are very important because they help grow food for millions of people. But when the monsoon is weaker than usual, it can cause droughts, which means there isn't enough rain. This happened in the 1970s and 1980s, when many people in Africa suffered because they didn't have enough water and food. Interestingly, every 23,000 years, the Sahara goes through cycles where it becomes green and filled with plants again. However, we're currently in a dry phase that will last another 15,000 years. This brings us to ask if it's possible to bring back the Sahara's lost green world. Scientists think the Sahara could become green again in the future, about 10,000 years from now, because the Earth's tilt changes every 23,000 years. But because of the way people are changing the climate with greenhouse gases, it's hard to know exactly what will happen. There's also an idea that if we put lots of solar panels and wind farms in the Sahara, it might help bring more rain and make the desert green again. But no one has tried this yet, so for now, we'll have to wait and see what happens to the Sahara in the future. Recently, scientists and engineers have been trying to find ways to make the Sahara green again, just like it was thousands of years ago. One idea is to plant lots of trees in a project called the Great Green Wall. This wall of trees would stretch across Africa, from the Atlantic Ocean in the west to the Indian Ocean in the east. The goal is to stop the spread of the desert and bring more rain to the area. If successful, it could help people in Africa grow more food and have a better life. However, scientists are being very careful. They want to make sure that turning the Sahara green again won't cause new problems. For example, if there is more rain in the Sahara, it might change the weather in other parts of the world, like making some areas drier or causing more storms. They are also studying how planting trees in the desert might affect animals, plants, and the people who live there now. It also still has a big effect on the world's weather. The Sahara produces a lot of dust, which can be blown by the wind across the ocean, reaching places as far away as the Amazon rainforest in South America and even the Arctic. This dust can affect the weather in these places, sometimes helping plants grow by providing important nutrients, but it can also cause problems like making storms stronger. The Sahara Desert is a powerful reminder of how our planet can change over time and how deeply connected everything is. From its ancient days as a green, thriving land full of life to its current state as the largest hot desert on Earth, the Sahara has always had a massive impact on the world's climate and ecosystems. As scientists explore ways to potentially re-green the Sahara with projects like the Great Green Wall, they're not just looking to bring life back to a barren landscape. They're carefully considering how these changes might ripple across the globe. But here's the real question. What would happen to our planet if we succeeded? To find out, check out our recent video on how Bhutan is getting affected by climate change, and hit that subscribe button if you like videos like these. Let us know in the comments if you want to explore more fascinating stories about our planet's hidden past. Who knows what else we might discover together.